stop, release, release. All right, you guys, welcome to another episode of Heck Yeah Adventures. Look who I've got in my shop today. Got Papa Dar. So, Dar comes by occasionally and we get talking about things. You guys would not believe what he was involved with this week. We were just sitting here talking, and Dar's like, I'm the one that, I mentioned to him about that person that went into the pond. He's like, I'm the one that pulled it out. And I'm like, well, we're doing a Heck Yeah Adventure episode out of this. Even though I wasn't even there, Dar was, and that's all that matters. I'm going to let him tell the story, and then I'm going to show some video and pictures of what happened, but you guys are not going to believe what Dar did to pull these guys out.
Well, Ramsey Towing called us and wondered how big a cat I had. I said, what for? And he said, we got a truck in a pond. So we go up and look. We end up taking our cat and our big track hoe to help them pull this truck out of the pond. It took all day long, but we did get it out in one piece.
I get a call from my family, and when you're in a small town, things are, I mean, everybody finds out about it.
Everybody knows everything.
But they send a picture of a full 53-foot semi truck and trailer in my brother-in-law's pond. And it's fully in the pond. Dar said he rolled up and the guy didn't want to, he's like cab deep, and he said he didn't want to swim out.
Yeah, they had to go get a pontoon boat and row out and get him because he claimed he couldn't swim.
Oh, so we won't say names or anything or companies, but how freaking awesome is that? I think all involved probably really, really lucky. Don't know what happened, and we won't speculate on how it happened, but Jeremy and Betty are the ones that filmed it. It was right by their ponds. I'm going to show you guys all the footage. Jeremy and Betty did a good job, and I'm going to interview them. And yeah, we're going to pull all this together and show you how crazy of a time this was. So a truck comes flying down this road, comes off the road right here, and goes right in to the pond. So my brother-in-law, Nate, and my sister Ramona own this pond right here. It's such a pretty little pond, but I can only imagine what the fish were thinking with the visitor they had a couple days ago. Get you guys kind of a look at the pond itself and the aftermath. So yeah, there it is one more time. Go talk to Jeremy and Betty now.
My cleaner Stevie texted me and she said, hey Betty, I'm not sure you're aware, but there's a semi truck in your pond. And I had no idea, so I said, send me a picture, because I didn't know what in the world she was talking about. And as soon as I got the picture, sure enough, it was Uncle Nate's pond, and a semi truck was right in the middle of it. So she had just driven by, nobody was there. She stopped to just make sure everybody was okay, and they said help was on the way, so she left. I texted Jeremy, and he had already got a call from someone.
I was there.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah.
Shortly after it happened.
We had just finished changing sprinklers up at Hidden Lake, repairing sprinklers anyway, and was headed down to get some more stuff at the hardware store. I pulled up, and there was 3 or 4 trucks there. The cops hadn't got there, the ambulance hadn't got there, and I pulled it over into the campground, and the truck, I mean, he made it all the way out into the meadow, or out into the middle of the pond.
Oh my gosh.
And anyway, I took a little bit of video and sent it to my brother Nate. Well, Nate, he took down some of your weeds. The insurance company probably going to build you a nice fence. Yeah, then everybody started showing up after that.
it was so wonderful to know that nobody was hurt.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so
Yeah,
when
we're
we
kinda
arrived
smiling
at
and
the
stuff,
scene and the driver was speaking and he was in, fairly good,
As good as you can expect.
spirits, then it became just fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't so serious. We did wait for an ambulance to come. By the time they got back with the rowboat, there was a semi-cleared path to the pond, and it was determined that Jeremy was going to be their rescue party. So
That was my boat. Only the captain drives the boat.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts.
That was my boat, so I went out there to get him. It was very anticlimactic, but it was fun.
Listen, one of the craziest parts about this whole story is the fact that the guy didn't want to swim, is what
No,
Dar
he didn't.
said.
He did
Dar
not.
said he was sitting in that cab and he was waiting for that boat
Oh,
to
yeah.
show up.
And it took us a minute. The boat had been sitting next to the lake and it had water in it and leaves. And so I cleaned the boat up a little bit. It took us probably 20 minutes. And by the time
Chance was the right help because he's a big
Yeah.
guy and he's strong, and
we had to pack the boat over there. But anyway, and then the next day, we got the guy out. Everything was good. He had a lot of goodies in that truck. You could tell he was a long hauler. He was going across the country with all of his stuff. But got the guy he actually didn't even go in the ambulance. They checked him out and let him go. And he spent the night in Kanab and hooked up with a buddy that took him up to Salt Lake, actually. And then the next day, Jake Ramsey with Ramsey Towing showed up. Papa Dar showed up with a D7 Cat. And I think it was like a 310 John Deere excavator.
Yep, he said he had
And it was amazing. It was so fun to actually get in there and video everything that was going on and watch their expertise. I mean, I don't know that you can get a better guy than Papa Dar in there knowing how to move stuff. And then obviously Jake Ramsey's had as much experience as anybody has towing semis. But neither of them actually had said that they had pulled a semi out of a pond. Papa Dar's got a story about everything, and now he actually really does.
I love that. I felt a little bit awkward to be on the scene at first, and as soon as Papa Dar saw me trying to sneak a couple pictures, he came over and he was like, "Hey, go ahead, get some video." And so then I felt important. I felt like, okay, he gave me permission to be here on the scene, so we enjoyed watching the whole process.
So Papa Dar, he acts like he doesn't like being on camera. He likes being on camera.
He likes telling stories on camera too.
Yeah.
And then we backed my cat up as close as we could to the water and hooked it to the ripper. And we started pulling and it started moving.
Oh my God.
The mud was slick enough that it started moving back. And we broke a bunch of them great big chains, but
Yeah, yeah. That's why I'm here.
between us and they had 2 wreckers there. And I had my cat, my track hoe that we'd hook the track hoe on to keep it from tipping over as it come up back up out of the pond.
Well, and shout out, I'll give some love to Ramsey Towing. They've got a lot of big towing equipment in our area.
They do an awesome job.
And I actually went to high school with Jake, one of the owners of Ramsey Towing, and he's the one that got the pontoon boat. So shout out to you, Jake, buddy. When you're in a small town, you guys, I kid you not, that's one thing. Everybody might know everybody and what's going on, but you've never seen how fast you can get a bunch of people together to help out another person. And that's what I love about the town we're from. And yeah, anything else, Dar?
You know, if, in a small town like this, if you do something and get in trouble, it gets home before you do.
And 2 or 3 different versions of what happened makes it home before you do.
They swam out, Jake and his boy swam out there and hooked the chains around the back of the trailer, and then they hooked it to my cat, and because they're wreckers, they didn't think would pull it.
Hey, I wish I had an anchor for you there, Jake.
I mean, it's suctioned in. This
Well,
thing,
it actually started moving pretty good, easy, but when the tires got over to the bank, see the brakes are all locked up.
oh yeah.
So then they swam out with the pontoon boat and hooked air up to the trailer off one of the wreckers, which released the trailer brake.
Yep.
So then the trailer brakes would roll, but then the landing gear and the drive axles was plowing it. It brought a gob of moss out when we got the landing gear up there. It was like 10 feet long.
So I got pictures, so my family got the pictures the night before, and this thing was sitting, you could see where it's sitting out of the cab was sitting out of the water quite a bit. Dar said the next day, and I'll show you pictures right now, that it sunk down at least a couple
Well, when we
feet.
started pulling it,
That's when
it sunk down in the mud.
Oh, okay. He hooked it up. I will show a video of him pulling it out, but yeah, I mean, the suction in that thing, there's no way that you had your traco and your D-setter.
Yeah, the tractor was keeping it from tipping over where it come up out of the pond, and then it got to where I couldn't pull it alone. So then we hooked up the wrecker. So I had my cat and the wrecker both pulling on it.
Oh my gosh.
It was an all-day project.
That's one of those things that you'll never forget. That's a story that it's hard to believe, but from pictures and video, you guys are gonna love this. So.
Not seen them break very often, but
Yeah. Crazy. This one's broke twice or 3 times.
Is that when you were hooking it up, you just pulled it a little too tight? Is that what happened?
Teamwork makes the dream work.
We're getting closer.
New spot for a boat ramp. I like it. We don't have to dock in the weeds anymore. We can just let her off right on this boat dock. Still hooked to the fence. Hey Dakota, what if he lets down some? Will that trailer let back We'll let it tip back over. See, it's leaning our way. If he lets down, we'll let I like it. Pick up the middle. Hallelujah.
And it had a whole load of boxed water. You know them little milk crates like where orange juice stuff that are cardboard? That's what it was, boxed water. They had the little lid on them.
Oh my gosh.
It was a whole truckload of that. And when it hit, it all slid to the front.
Holy cow. So it was full of water all the way, full of water.
And then the trailer, when we got there, the trailer had filled up with water to the pond level.
They didn't need to get any more H2O. All right, so I'm here at the silos with Jeremy and Betty, and we're gonna have them give us a tour.
Heck yeah!
Yes.
What up, Ben?
So I haven't even got a chance to see these things yet. I've heard all about them. Switch this around.
Heck yeah. Come on in, Benny. We thought originally that it was going to be this super easy situation where we would tear an old barn or old bin down and just kind of repurpose it. But we ended up buying a new bin and repurposing everything in here. So this is an old barn that my grandmother had in Glendale. Some of the posts are actually out of an old barn down in Mount Carmel. The steel work is from a cousin of mine. So this has kind of been a whole family contribution, and we love how it turned out. So let us go show you upstairs.
And the favorite thing is to welcome our friends and our family.
Absolutely.
Having been here feels like bringing one of our kids home, and that's the best part.
Dad built these doors. And anyway, when we got to the point of saying, hey, I didn't want a store-bought doorknob on here, right? I knew that wouldn't look right. And so we started looking around the old farm and found
That's a tooth.
the knife guard is what it is. It says case right here.
Yes.
And anyway, that's the doorknob.
First thing I noticed when I walked in was the toilet. This thing, straight out of Japan, y'all. I mean,
I got it. This is the first toilet I've ever seen that you had to turn on. Look at this.
that is amazing. 45 inlaid, and then all this with the metal plating on the back. I mean,
The metal plate is actually slid in between.
Our
It's
custom
sandwiched.
goose hinges came from Tim Esplin in Orlando.
oh my gosh. So yes, Jeremy's dad, my dad, like growing up, we're losing our old timers. Luckily, Jeremy still got his. So Roger was one of those guys growing up. He was always quiet, but could always do stuff like this. He would just send his kid down to my house because my dad was loud. So check out the shower here. So it's a walk-in. So, I mean, the same thing. inlaid tiles.
The best part about the kitchen was the circular walls, but I stuck to my guns and I wanted to put the cabinetry on the outside wall. Uncle Nate built the cabinets for us, these doors. They've got the metal inserts as well. So Jeremy and Uncle Nate put the cabinets together. I didn't know they were going to be on show, or I would have organized a little bit better.
No, this is so awesome. I love the granite. Like, that granite is amazing. But I love how this is all set up. So pick your poison, y'all. It's set up and ready.
User-friendly.
The sleeping arrangements up here and the deck. Two of my favorite places.
Oh, how cool is that? Oh my gosh.
So we have a love-hate relationship with the geese around here. It is the silos at Goose Lake Lane. That's what Betty affectionately called it because it reminds her.
I love
reminds
the
her of her
geese,
grandmother.
and Jeremy hates the geese. That's
So come out here. This is my favorite place of the whole building.
Oh wow.
This, we build them so they're opposite. Let me step over here.
There we go.
So the deck is opposite. We have two silos right here. There's one over there. The deck is on the hillside, so opposite of this one. So when you come out to enjoy the decks, you get your own privacy, and I mean, you can't beat the views. Just amazing.
I built the sign for Lydia's Canyon for my Eagle project, so that sign is mine.
That's right.
Yes, it
That's
is.
right.
So whenever I pull into Lydia's Canyon, I see that big green sign. I think about my Eagle Scout career.
There you
So,
There you
but
go.
on the way out, so I told these guys it was only going to be a couple minutes, so I'm only going to steal them for a couple more minutes here. But check them out. So where can they stay here?
We'd love to host you at the silos. You can find us at zionfamilyhomes.com and reach out to Jeremy and I with any questions. We actually have 14 properties, including a campground that has tent and RV sites. So whether you need to come camping or want to stay in a silo or a tiny house or a 8-bedroom home, we got you covered. So.
And the best part about it is, like me, I do rentals as well, but you're not calling a third-party agency, you're calling us.
You'll talk to Betty or I.
And that right there, to me, means more than anything. Huge thanks to these guys for videoing it and letting me have this footage for my channel, videos you ever seen. And it's gotta be one of the most epic recoveries that you've ever seen in your lifetime. Prove me wrong.
Heck yeah, come stay with us too. See the
Heck-
pond it went into.
Heck yeah.
We'll even take you for a ride on that boat.
Thanks, Ben.
We're gonna end this video, and I love it when Dar comes by because we get to catch up on all the good stories in the area and what he's been doing. So until the next one, Dar,
We'll be ready.
thanks for coming by.
Thanks for watching.